don't hear from you for months. And then this sudden need to sell the Tuscan house by last Tuesday.
The house has been empty for 20 years. We just cheer the place up a bit and get it sold.
Tuscany is a romantic idyll. It's why all my clients come here. You have delivered me a building site whose walls seem to have been painted by Mussolini.
I wouldn't go on the bathroom if I were you. There's a large weasel in the sink. That's not a euphemism.
Okay, what's the plan? Very ferrato. It's like a rat, but like good teeth. The size of a baguette, like a rat baguette.
And that's a clip from Made in Italy. I'm delighted to say that it stars Liam Neeson. Micheál Richardson join us, father and son, playing father and son. Hello, Liam. Hello, Micheál.
Hey, buddy.
Hello.
How's it going?
Where are you, Liam?
I am upstate New York at the moment.
Okay. Micheál, you look as though you're somewhere else altogether. Where are you, sir?
I'm out in LA. I don't live here. It was kind of like a spur of the moment thing for a job, but yeah, I'm out in LA, and it's actually one of the few overcast days that there probably are in the year here. So I feel almost lucky.
Okay. Well, our heart bleeds for you, obviously, you know. At this point, Liam, I mean, there are advantages in doing promotion at this distance. I quite like it when it's face-to-face, because it would be at this point when I would present you with a flask or a cup of BBC tea. Because there you go, you got it. Because I can't remember whether it's for Michael Collins in '96 or Rob Roy in '95, but you said you became addicted to BBC tea. Have I remembered that right?
Yeah, pretty much. Now I'm addicted to BBC decaf tea. Because I had, I was getting shooting pains in my leg, cramps in the middle of the night. And, a friend of mine set me up with this massage therapist who does all the dancers on Broadway. Anyway, he worked on me, made me cry. The pain was agonizing as he got rid of lactic acid crystals in my leg. And afterwards he said, do you drink a lot of caffeine? I said, yes, I do. He said, I would maybe drop it if you can. Switch to decaf. And I did. And the cramps disappeared by like 90%.
Did you know this, Micheál? I mean, you've been in quarantine together, you've been in lockdown with your dad and your brother. Did you know that he has this addiction for tea and now has gone to decaf?
Yes, and I'm the one normally turning on the kettle for him and pouring it myself. I don't get the decaf Yorkshire. I like adding lots of milk and honey. He does it straight. I don't see the appeal, but I do like tea just with caffeine for now. I haven't developed any lactic crystals in my legs, so.
Not yet, but give it a couple of decades, Micheál. Give it a couple of decades. Made in Italy, Liam. I think if I've got this right, you got the script and took it to Micheál. So just explain the process whereby this film got made.
My lovely English agent, Sue Latimer, said, Liam, I've got this script from an actor called James D'Arcy. And I said, oh, I know who James is. I'd never met James, but I knew who he was as an actor. Said, let me send it to you. It's might be too close, too near the knuckle. She didn't explain anymore. She sent it to me. I read it and I thought, ooh, this is it read like a good solid punch to the gut is how I can best describe it. And I thought there's two things I can do. I can either just say, let's forget it. This is too near the knuckle. Or I could do it, and maybe it would be very cool to do it with my son. So that word was passed to James D'Arcy, and James met up with Micheál. I was shooting Men in Black in London at the time, and Micheál came over to visit, and James worked with him, I believe, for 4 or 5 hours, and then called me up to my hotel and said, listen, I think Micheál could be really good in this, that this could work between father and son, between you and Micheál. So I was thrilled. So that was the genesis of it.
So just before I bring Michael in, can you just explain in your words, Liam, why you described this story when you read it in the script, why you thought it was near the knuckle?
Well, it's to do with death. It's to do with the death of my wife. It's the death of Michael's mother under, accidental circumstances, and how my character reacts to that death in the film. That's not how I reacted in real life, but in the film, it was my character takes on a different journey in helping his son cope with it, and how he helps him is the worst possible thing he could have done. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I don't want to give a spoiler alert.
No. That's good. And Michael, when your dad gives you a script, you're going to take notice. But when you read it, was there part of you that thought, well, I don't know. I imagine that you were torn, and part of you thought, I absolutely want to do this film, and there was another voice in your head saying, are you sure?
There was a bit of that. Yeah. It just felt weird reading it. That summer we had to let go of like a family house, which is where my mom grew up and where I kind of grew up, where I felt sort of closest to her. And that was the summer, like right after we let it go, that I read the script, and I don't know, you read it, and yeah, the parallels are almost creepy just because of how on the nose it was. And with that, I felt there was like a great deal of importance, and equally like being able to, star in a film with Dad, like after not really working that much, it was kind of a no-brainer. Exciting and daunting, but like mostly exciting.
I wonder if the thought, I mean, just in terms of whether it was daunting or not just revisiting grief on a film set with your dad, but also, and I was thinking prior to doing this interview, and then you talking about it, and you and your dad talking about it in every single interview that you have to do, whereas most people would go, you know what, I'd be quite happy just to keep this to myself, really.
Yeah. And
well, sorry, Michael, if I can interrupt, listen, we'd love people to see the movie. It's as simple as that. So, and that requires you talking about the subject matter, spoiler alerts, and but we want people to see the film because we're very proud of it, and I think James Darcy has got for his first film. I thought he wrote it beautifully. I thought he directed it very, very well, and so I'm eager to promote it.
Yes.
I just want people to see it, And now during this world pandemic is a perfect time to view a film like this, where we get to examine our family relations and relationships and adjust.
And also and in the comforts of like your own home with your family. I know at one point Dad was a little let down, of course, that it wouldn't be released in theaters and that you could watch it in a theater, but drawing some sort of positive from it, it's like, I think it is a film that just is perfect for watching with your family on your couch, in your home. Yeah.
I think we do need to mention the house, given that the title of the movie is Made in Italy. I mean, what a house. What scenery. The Tuscan scenery looks absolutely stunning. Liam, can you describe this house that you and you're Robert and your son is Jack. Describe what it's like, because it looks amazing.
Well, it's an old Italian house. I don't know how many bedrooms it had. Quite a few. However, we were there for 6 weeks. The first 5 weeks, it rained. There was fog. We could have been shooting it in East Acton, and you would never have known. Then in the last week, the sun came out. The magical Tuscan sun came out, and we got those sunrises and sunsets. And it was almost, I've been describing it as a religious experience, how the air changed, how the views changed. You could see hillsides, wine crops, beautiful little villages hanging onto the side of a hilltop. And you could understand why these Renaissance artists and artists at this stage just fell in love with the place and had to paint aspects of it, you know. The house was lovely. It was an old house. I can't tell you when it was built. Lots of bedrooms. I had little outsheds and stuff. But everything we needed for the film was there in the house and in the surrounding area of the house.
Is it, and Michael, is it overstating it to say that as far as your character is concerned and your dad's character is concerned, this house is almost like it's sacred, really? That's how it feels.
Yeah, and where I think Jack felt closest to his mom, and he was brought up at a younger age there with her, and having not been back, and seeing it when I'm sure as a kid it was this colorful, vibrant, amazing place, which it still is, but it has a few, cobwebs and it's kind of dirty and messed up. So I think for the initially coming back, that was like a gut punch for him of like seeing this place that he had in his memories, this warm, beautiful home, and how Robert, really, Dad's character, had just let it go to waste,
I was reading, Michael, just revisiting some of your mother's movies as I was reading interviews that you and Liam have done. And I think I've remembered this right, that one of your favorites is Parent Trap. And it made me smile because I think I've seen that movie like 50 times. My daughter, we watched it every week. And it was, this is the Disney remake with Lindsay Lohan. But I think that's just a fantastic movie. And your mum is great in it.
Thank you so much. And, I feel so lucky to have that. If somebody who's my mom passed away, and to have these nuggets and have that film, especially the Parent Trap, because realistically, that was her, like that warm motherly energy. She wasn't playing that up really at all. And so that's kind of how I remember her, and to have that on screen, I'm like incredibly lucky, and that is my favorite film of her. It's a brilliant film, Parent Trap.
And I love the relationship between her and Dennis Quaid. Dennis is an old pal of mine. We did a movie together years ago with Cher, and so we were kind of pals. And I loved their relationship, and I don't think Lindsay has been better. I thought she was superb in that film.
Yeah, I love it, and I think I've probably seen it more than both of you put together. So that's my little badge of honor. Just before you leave us, Liam and Michael, can I just ask you, Liam? You're in New York. Can I just ask you about the unlocking? We have a sort of a roadmap in the UK for looking for the theaters and the cinemas to reopen. Obviously, as Michael said, it would have been great if people could have seen this movie in the cinema. What is the situation in New York as far as the unlocking is concerned, in terms of people getting back into theaters?
Well, here's the situation. On Friday past, I went into the AMC theaters, which is the biggest theater chain in the world, and to introduce a film of mine called The Marksman that was #1 a couple of weeks ago or something. And in New York, they had opened not all the cinemas, but quite a number of them to a 25% capacity, which in this theater I'm talking about, this cinema, 25% was 50 people. So we had a packed house of 50 people. And I just went on to, before the film started, just to welcome people and thank them for showing up, and, kind of give it the, let's do this, but let's do it safely. Everybody had to wear masks and, set at social distancing and stuff. But it was a start, and I love picture houses. I love movie theater since I was a kid. It was like coming home to me. And I told the audience this, and hopefully it will continue, you know. It will.
Yeah. And Michael, we have 30 seconds. In LA, is it a similar picture? Or maybe you haven't been there long enough to pick that up.
I haven't been here really long enough to pick it up. It seems, you know, in LA, you sort of drive from place to place. So you look out and it doesn't seem like there are that many people walking around. But it would have been a nice place to spend a majority of this pandemic. It's beautiful out here.
I think the cinemas in LA are opening in April, I believe.
Oh, right.
They're going to do. They're going to start opening them. I'm imagining with a 25% capacity. You know.
Yeah. Liam, always a pleasure to speak to you. Liam Neeson, Michel Richardson. Thank you. The movie is made in Italy. Liam and Michael, thank you for your time.
Thanks, bro.
Thank you, Simon.